Yes, here we are again. The best part of the week, the top of the week on the LANCESCURV podcast with Brother Metamorphosis, aka Neil Frazier, the children of Sodom, the fiery 2006 Luciferian Judgment against Amerikkka, spelled with 3 Ks. I was surprised I got away with that title.
Yeah, me too.
Posted it up.
Yeah.
How are you, brother? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Always great to be with you and the family on Mondays. And yeah, I was a little hesitant about adding the 3 Ks, but then it would not be truthful.
That's right.
Because we know this is a legacy that not only defines America, but it defines the experience of Black people in this country.
Yes.
So, you know, the fact of the matter is that when we discuss our issues, then we have to be truthful about what the issue is and not skirt around it, because then it's not, it's like, if you go, say you go for therapy, right? Like some people have to do, or couples do, but you don't address the major issue in the relationship or the major issue that you're having, then it's not going to be solved. I don't care how much you dance around it. If you don't go, or like a surgeon, if they operate on your heart, but they're supposed to be operating on your liver, then guess what? You got a problem. And so that's where we find ourselves today. This was the subject, and I'm going to go into the story, which is fascinating, like you and I were talking earlier, that the Bible has a lot of great stories in it. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things I always enjoyed as a kid, the Sunday school stories, which I know all of them. I'm sure you do. All of us were raised with them. Yeah. The problem was that the stories didn't match with the with the manifestations of the reality that we live in America. It was more or less of something that was like a fantasy that you aspired to, but never really saw the manifestation of it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, we're at a time when we have to be truthful with the situation we're in, because I'll just tell you this real quickly before we go into your banner. Yeah, and greetings to the family, everybody out there. Hope everybody's doing well. So this is a gift I had since I was a child. And at first I used to be afraid. Like I can remember at 5 years old, seeing things that I would pull a cover over my head and lock the door and try not, but I still could see it. And so I realized, and then it would happen to me probably every 3 years. I would have these type of dreams. And so about maybe 2 weeks ago, when I'm really tired, I go into a deep sleep. And I was in a deep sleep, and I guess it was like an outer body experience. That's the best way I can explain it. Mm-hmm. And I saw what looked like fire coming down out of the sky.
Wow.
And I remember waking up like, okay, this is not real. Because a lot of times when you get certain inspirations, you might think you're in a dream state, but actually your subconscious is experiencing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so real, Brother Lance, that I was frightened, man. I got up and I looked outside, and this was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, wow, that felt too real. And then just like when we did the show, when I left something here and I had to come back, and you know, I always do this just to maybe check the weather again or do something. I cut on the TV and there you are doing the show. So I couldn't go right back to sleep. So I turn on the TV, and what do I see? Sodom and Gomorrah. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. That's for about 4:30 in the morning. I said, huh, that's interesting. And so I watched it a little while. And then it hit me. This is what we need to discuss, because a lot of times our people are forced into crisis management after things happen. And the other part of that too is that we, because we've been taught to look at things in a 90-degree angle, then we don't look at the real cause and the motive of something. We just look at what the experience of it is in front of us, or what the spin is on it.
That's right.
So yeah, brother, we're gonna get in today. I'll let you go ahead with your banner and tell us what motivated you to put together such a great banner.
Yes, it's as close as I could come to what I really wanted, because if I can put up what I really wanted, it would be more, not offensive, but it would convey the message in the direction that I wanted to convey it into.
Okay.
So, of course, I use a program to generate these, right? This is not like I put up something and painted it, but you have to be slick with what you ask for and the prompts that you put in, because in a lot of these programs, there are a lot of safeguards to stop you from creating something that's offensive or something that's derogatory to people or any segment of society. So my thing was,
Canvo?
Say it again.
Do you use Canvo?
Oh, no. It's another program that I use.
Okay.
I'll put that out there soon.
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah,
it's difficult. It's difficult to use if you don't know how to get around the safeguards.
Okay.
So I wanted to, when you think of the Sodom and Gomorrah, what do most people think about? I mean, you can't even express what it is now on social media, because that particular segment of society will get offended, like it's not them.
Yes.
And clearly it's them. But when we speak about the judgment, it's not just for them. It's for all people who are wayward and decayed morally, right?
Yes.
But that's the first thing that comes to mind when we speak of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So the challenge was having a crowd of wanton people, just with no limits, nothing. So I wanted to have not just men, but a mixture of men and women, but it kept messing with me.
Okay.
So if you notice, way in the back behind your name is the rainbow flag. That's to confirm what I wanted to put out there. But
I didn't take that personally. I didn't take that personally because of
but it has nothing to do with you. It's just that's the positioning of it before I put the name up. If I put your name lower, it would be a distraction because it's down around the crotch areas of these individuals. So I didn't want to put it there. So I wanted the color. I wanted to be a nightclub. I wanted to convey a wanton, out of control, hedonistic, carnal environment, but these programs are so safeguarded with decency that this is the best I can come up with. So I had some other ones that I came up with, but it wasn't strong enough. So this is what it was. So I wanted to show a party atmosphere where if I had my way, some kind of people would be kissing some kind of people and hugging up and all that stuff. But then again, YouTube wouldn't have allowed that. If I depicted a true Sodom and Gomorrah image, they'd shut my channel down, right? So this is the best I can do, but it still doesn't convey it the way I want it, right?
Okay.
But it's the closest. The colors and the colors of the letters, a little lavender, a little, so you see, I didn't put your name in that color, right? But I kept you out of it,
I appreciate
right?
that.
But yeah, they're very careful with that. So there's some rogue programs that I'm going to get into that bypass that stuff. But then again, if I can do it the way I wanted to, YouTube wouldn't allow it. So it's a hard edge to cross,
Yeah. And unfortunately, we can't discuss things based on the reality of something. We have to pretty much massage people's egos and dance around issues that we know we have to discuss, because now you're blocking divine inspiration. You're not just telling somebody that they can't discuss something that's obviously a part of our experiences,
right?
But you're saying that you can't even use something that you've been inspired to talk about,
right?
But but the picture itself and the concept certainly describes the situation in which we find ourselves in America, due to a lot of different things. But I want to talk about this story in Sodom and Gomorrah. It has some very interesting, like all biblical stories. I'm going to take the religious, emotional aspect out of it, because what that does is that clouds our ability to comprehend the message that's tailored for us. So this story is fascinating in several different ways. And again, thank you, brother. I want to greet you and the family, everybody under the sound of my voice. Yes. In several different ways, it's fascinating because it gives us a snapshot of what we see in our society today. And also, it lets us know that the boundaries, the moral boundaries, that is obviously a part of who we are, that's in our chakras, whether you want to deny that or not. When you cross that, and then you don't make any attempt to take accountability and recognize that you have violated a divine law from the creative spirit, but yet you can quote a scripture or tell people about Caesar Borgia, and then and expect our people to be all emotional and say, oh, okay, well, we forgive you, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. When we see all of this in front of our face. So the story begins, you see these two streaks of fire coming out of the sky, two angels, right? I'm not even going to say the names of the angels, because we know that those were not the names that were used in the original written version of the Vulgate. So, but however, when these angels came, they came for a specific purpose, okay? Now, right before the angels came, Abraham, who was a man that talked with God, the way the story goes. And so he was, God had told him that he was going to destroy this city, that it was morally bankrupt, that it had lost all of the tenets of righteousness that was established for us to live by, or the Meatan laws of truth, justice, righteousness, and balance. And that there was, the corruption had gone so far, the extremities of it, that it could not be saved, okay? And that in itself said a lot, right? Now, here you have the creator who created and creatrix spirit that created these beings. Obviously, if you create or procreate a child, you're going to love that child. I don't care if the child comes out deformed, okay? So when we look at this, we look at a situation where, okay, well, if it's gotten to a point where it can't be saved, then now where do we go from here? So Abraham said, well, what if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you still destroy the city? The Creator said, no, I will not. And then he thought about it for a minute. He said, well, what if there's 40 or 45, one of them? And he said, I will not destroy it for 40. Okay. And then he thought about it again. He said, well, would you destroy it for 30? And the answer was the same. No, I will not. Then he said, well, you destroy the city for 20. Same answer. No, I will not. Will you destroy it for 10? He said, no. If you find 10 righteous people, then I will not destroy this city. So again, this tells us how much value of that's put on 10 lives, okay, by the creator, creator spirit, where you have these people that you worship that don't care anything about millions of Black people. So right there, you see some type of character flaw that has been designed in religion that's inconsistent with divine laws. So as the story progressed, the angels, they followed Abraham. They changed into normal looking people. And when they went into the city, the men of the city, it was so many of them. First, it was prostitutes on every corner. And they're walking to Lot's house, okay, to where his son-in-law is. And so, or nephew, one of them. Yes, nephew Lot. So the men of the city are following them, right? So they get there, they get inside the house, and the men try to break into the house. And they're threatening Lot, saying, well, if you don't let us in, we're going to break into this house because we see you have 2 new visitors, 2 new men, and we want to know them. Now, we know what that means, that word, when it was translated from Hebrew to Latin. We know what that means, right? Yep. And so Lot said, knowing that these were angels, said, no, listen, I have 2 virgin daughters. I'll let you have them. They said, no, we don't want your daughters. Okay, we want those 2 men that came into your house. And if you don't bring them out, we're busting the door down and we're coming in to get them. So the angel's like, okay, we had enough. Let's go. It's going to, it's all over. There's nothing that can be done. We can't save this city. The moral decline and decay has gotten so bad that nothing can be. Now, if you've ever been in a situation where you can't, because it's just built in us to want to save certain things, okay? That was one of the things I had to grow out of. I used to be a person who thought I could save or change any situation. I've learned, no, you cannot. There are only certain people that you are sent to connect with. That is a fact in life. Yeah. The only thing you can do is give a message to people. But you cannot spend any energy. And so these angels are like, no, we out of here. This is unsavable. This city is going to be destroyed. And if you stay here, your family is going to be destroyed too. So Abraham said, well, how many, Lot asked Abraham, well, how many righteous people do you find? He said, well, it's just 4. You, your wife, and 2 daughters. And so they were leaving the city, and everybody knows the story. They were leaving the city, and they were given instructions by the angels not to look back. And when they got outside the outskirts of the city, as the story goes, Lot's wife looked back. Now, to me, that can represent you not wanting to, leave your past behind. Okay, there are things, and all of us have this. So I'm not here today to be some moralistic preacher. I'm just here today to send you a message that our people need to hear. That's very, very important today, because we can't look back in the sense that the mistakes that we have made, we have to let that go. These systems are no longer going to save us, because these systems are morally bankrupt. Their foundation is built on wickedness, evil, and it's being ran by a Luciferian cult that worships Serapis. But they have given our people Caesar Borgia, and they both have 2 separate characteristics. We know that Serapis represents this Druid god of war and the Greco-Roman god, okay? And we know that they gave you Caesar Borgia as a meek, humble lamb, which has proven to be a lie. Because when they first came to Kibalon and they came to Turtle Island, and wherever they went, the missionaries went in with the Bibles. They gave our people the Bibles, and then they left with the land. We were left holding the Bible. And that played out all over the globe. Okay. So when she looked back and turned into a pillow of salt, that immediately said to me that this, if you're told that something is going to affect you, if you go back to it and you go back to it, that's on you. Our people have been told over and over again that we cannot go back to. It's just like this, brother. You cannot go back to the same circumstances that created the problems that you have to look for some type of redemption or progress from it, right?
Right.
So you're going back to the same systems that have you in this condition. They have already told you that they have that you are not favored by the god, the Serapis that they worship. And so you're separated and you're on your own, but yet you don't want to accept that, where you have the greatest power on the planet. The reason why, like Lance's banner showed, that the children of Sodom, that's Americans of all culture, because a society's leadership and the energy of that leadership affects all of the constituents in that nation. Okay, so when you look at this picture and we look at the state that we find Black America in, we can't turn our eyes away from this. So what they have taught us to do is to take individuals and try to hold their feet to the fire when they make mistakes. However, they have never confronted the fact that the majority of things that happen in America today is a direct result of the total moral breakdown in this country, similar to Babylon. So I want to start out today, Brother Lance. I want to start out talking about a few things concerning the children of Sodom.
Sure.
And I want to talk about the fiery 2026 judgment against the Luciferians in America. Okay, because when we look at judgment, you know, people have different ways of looking at this. But in this sense, we're talking about violation of divine laws. And the law that has been violated the most is the law of correspondence. Okay, as above, so below. So we know that in the English language that above means something higher or some type of higher consciousness, or in this case, the creator, creatrix spirit. And below are the beings that were created to emulate or carry on celestial wisdom on the terrestrial plane. Okay. As within, so without. So when people say to me that they have a spirit inside of them, but I see the outside manifestations exhibited, that goes against divine principles. See, again, you're taught from an emotional aspect. You're not taught from a spiritual aspect. They're two separate things. Spiritually, what's inside of your chakras of you melanin people is totally different from the people that you've been forced to worship. And this is why we find ourselves in the situation that we're in, because the children of Sodom in this nation is a direct result of those, or the Luciferians, who worship a deity and an entity that is a counterfeit spirit. Okay. So another thing too is when you look at the Sodom and Gomorrah story, you're talking about a situation where, I talked about the fact that it wouldn't be destroyed if you could find 10 people. But however, here's the issue we have right now, right? We have a situation in our country where we know that the leadership of this country has been involved with situations involving children. We know that the elite class, or the Luciferians, have trafficking children, all over the world. They're trafficking children all over the world. And we know that they also are merchants of death, because they sell their death wares all over the globe. And then they take the poorest children from our communities and they send them off to war, and they're expendable when they're told that they're fighting for our country. Okay, so the story of Sodom and Gomorrah has several aspects to it. that define the situation that we're in today. And then we're going to talk about the judgments that's coming and why this is so very critical for us to really comprehend and understand. So when you look at, Lance, if you want to put that first picture up there where you see the earth and the sun with the solar flare like up against it. I know, yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
One of the things that when we talk about judgment, we're talking about the things that are going to happen as a result of, just like when fire rained down on Sodom and Gomorrah, we're going to talk about the things that have brought this situation into fruition the way it is today. So again, nature is our greatest teacher. We see right here the power of the sun as opposed to the earth right here that we're looking at. And the whole reason for that is, again, to remind us that there is a greater power than the ones they have you afraid of. You can't talk. You can't show certain things. You don't really have freedom of speech and expression. But we also know that it wasn't just the moral decay of Sodom. It was several things that caused this judgment that's coming forward. And we're going to look at what these issues were. And I want everybody to look at this, because one of the greatest deceptions that have happened to our people is that we have forgotten who the greater power is. And that is because that the Luciferians have us in a vulnerable position through fiat and through your worship of material things, that you have totally walked away from what our purpose here on the planet is. So this EMF, or this solar flare, I believe, from what was shown to me, is going to be part of this judgment, okay, in 2026. As a result of this, we're going to talk about several things that's going to happen that our people may or may not be prepared for. Because, again, the children of Sodom are going to bear the brunt of the violation of divine laws as a result of people pretending and faking as if they love you by showing you Caesar Borgia, particularly during seasons like now, that has nothing to do with your spirituality. Okay, brother, can you go to that picture? Well, you can go to any one of the other pictures, and I'll just go from there. So what's going to happen is, now, this was I believe this happened in your home state, Lance, in New York. This was a trial run. I don't know how many of you remember this, but this was a blackout in 2003. And the thing, this is also part of this judgment, okay? Because the thing that's going to happen, Lance, if you put that chart up there, I'll explain this real quick. If you
want another photo?
Yeah, that chart. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see that clearly, but there are several things before we get to the last visual and go into the presentation that's going to happen as a result of these solar flares, okay, that we just looked at in the first picture. First, all communications and GPS systems will fail. Okay, let me say that again. All because somehow you've been convinced that this AI has greater power than the creator. I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't. Because this can be shut down as well, or it's going to be shut down by a greater power. All communications and GPS systems will fail. So you're going to have to do what our ancestors had to do, tell time by the movement of the sun. Or you're going to have to use natural ways of dealing with life that you have been totally separated from. We saw the blackouts. There's going to be a blackout due to grid failure. And this was something I learned when I was in the solar business. One of the things I advise people to do is get solar panels and get a generator, and then get a good electrician that can connect it. Don't wait to do this, okay? Because these same people that I'm talking to you have this power to shut off the Western grid, the Texas grid, and the Eastern grid, okay? They have this power. I've personally seen this, these utility companies. So when that happens, then you're going to have some way of effectively dealing with that issue. Okay, and these judgments have already happened. And let me tell you how I know they've already happened. Years ago, I read this book called The Holographic Universe. This guy, Michael Talbot, he died at a young age, but he was one of the first ones to start dealing with quantum physics. And he said that there was a blueprint that existed in the universe that's electric by nature. We know that's the creator. And also magnetic. We know that's the created spirit. And this is why this Sodom and Gomorrah type of separation is directed towards this power. See, you don't see what the real battle is because they have you caught up into emotional rhetoric. So they did an experiment where they connected the EEG to the brain and the EKG to the heart. And they had a stimuli that, affected or stimulated both of them. But 6 seconds prior to the EKG, or your biochemical makeup or your physical makeup became aware of this stimuli, it was already in the electrical field. Okay. So there is a electrical blueprint that already exists before you even experience it on the physical plane. That's how deep it is with you and your spirituality. Your EEG or your chakras, through you melanin, you are in this EMF, in this electromagnetic field. You are literally in this field. Okay. So the other thing that's going to happen as a result of this is you're not going to be able to communicate in the way, and also this is something that the Luciferians already know is going to happen. See, they already know that this judgment, they have already been told by these counterfeit spirits that this judgment is coming. It's the people who are outside of this that are unaware of this. The other thing that's going to happen, One other thing I want to talk about, Lance, visual, before we actually go in, is the last one. Now, this is a energy directed weapon, and probably a couple of decades, I saw a movie where these two guys were fighting over control of this weapon, because whoever commandeered this weapon naturally would control the world. This weapon is already in existence, okay? And I would dare to say that this weapon has already been used, okay, on the planet, and it is something that's going to be used against people, okay? That's the other thing. Okay, thank you, brother. There are going to be food shortages due to the spoilage of 75% of the crops. And when there is no electricity, then if you don't know the old school way of ice and salt, like our people knew, and how to preserve things, then guess what? But you've been told that we have progressed, but we have really regressed. Because Black people, had we not been under this spell for centuries. Now, here's the other thing. How could this type of spell and hate exist for centuries? There has to be some type, and we're talking 7% of the world's population. That's giving a little more. But there's going to also, the banks are going to collapse. And the availability of fiat. They're already moving, because only 3% of paper fiat is in circulation. 97% is digital. Crime is going to increase, including financial, violent, and property crimes. We're going to start seeing communities based on people's similarities. That's why you can't keep fighting against other Black people. Because at the end of the day, some of the stuff that I saw, I can't even say on here. Okay. Hospitals will increase their costs. And this is why they're not going to give you any health care, because there's something else planned behind this. Insurance will increase. Of course, we're going to have famine. The inorganic food, or the GMOs, is going to destroy the fertile soil. This is their plan. And because there are no more Dr. George Washington Carvers left. Okay. So they're going to destroy the fertile soil, that unless you know what to do, there's not going to be any real food left.
And just to add to that, brother,
yeah,
they say that if you grow GMO seeds in perfect soil that never had it before, then that soil will be ruined, that you won't be able to grow non-GMO food in that.
Yeah.
So the thing is now, people are getting money. Whatever money you get extra, buy seeds. Buy those seeds. Even if you get the seeds and put them down for a while, buy them. Even if it's just a little bit. Instead of trying to get a brand new luxury vehicle, find you some land somewhere. You see what I mean? No matter what country you're in. And get to a place where heat is not a problem. Which possibly flooding. You have to really be shrewd on this survival thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just wanted to add that in, brother.
No, that's an important point. Because again, our people are taught to operate off crisis management. The thing I pay attention to is what's going on behind the scenes with the people who have abandoned these systems that we have become 99% dependent upon. And they've abandoned these systems because, again, they already have their systems set up that exclude you. What they don't know is that this judgment against this, against the righteous people that are made in the true image of the creative creatrix spirit, there is a natural retribution that is built into the things that have been perpetuated upon our people. And then also we have to look at celestial language, okay? We have to look at the fact that this is the beginning of a new cycle for you melanin people, because the 60-year period from 1965, okay, when the Civil Rights Act and all of the things that our people fought and bled and died for was put on paper. But we know that there have been over 500 treaties broken, okay, by the US government with people of color. This is documented history. Okay, could be a whole bunch more than that. We're talking about what was documented. But that period between 1965 and 1925 is 60 years, which 60 years is the celestial cycle of our helical rising. When the Dogon do their Sigi, okay, when the Hopi do their whatever they call it, I can't think of it right now. We know when the Yamasee, when the Gully Geechee people, we know that these events are centered around a 60-year period. Okay, this is the celestial language that our people have forgotten. So this new energy that's coming in 2026, okay, unfortunately, because of the energy that's attached to this with our people, like the picture that you showed initially, Lance, your banner.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we're not going to escape this judgment. Now, what you've been taught is to attack people based on some fake moralistic Christian values which don't exist. But what you have to learn to do is start looking at the chakras of our people, because that is real spirituality that's outside of religion. We have to do this. And we have to start looking at people not based on whether or not they believe in Jesus, but who they are as an individual, okay, and respect them. Because the other thing too that this Luciferian spirit does is it destroys people. It destroys their self-worth. It destroys, and then it causes self-destruction, because the standards that have been set, although it's beneath you, have been elevated above you simply because of the trickle-down theory or supply and demand, which they control. So all of these reasons is why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, okay? Where you can walk over somebody laying on the street, walk right over them, not knowing that that might be a spirit that was sent there to see what your reaction is going to be.
That's right.
They got you so caught up into this Luciferian war of left and right, woke, this, all this so dumb caterpillar vibration that they have our people caught up into. You have to leave these systems, because what they're not telling you is they know this judgment is coming. They know the 6,000 year period is up, and they know that you are still caught up into the uploads that they're having on TikTok and these other places every day.
Yep.
They know that you're caught. They know that you're not paying attention to the 60-year SIGI that releases a vortex for the power that people of you melanin have. See, you're dealing with, when you talk about, here's the other thing too, that they tricked our people, that if you read the Qibla Nagas, then you know that Lucifer really is defined as an angel of light, okay, or the bright and morning star. What happened was that when the Bible was translated from originally from the Septuagint, the Greek Septuagint, they misinterpreted based on linguistics and the etymology, or how they change words or they lose their meanings through translation. It was not, so it's connected, the Septuagint is connected to a Germanic language. Thank you, critics. This is the point I'm trying to make that we miss. Okay. And so when you have a natural or a nationalistic religion that is based on politics, like Nazism is, then you can't get angry at the people who are following their nature, which you don't know because you don't study anything outside of the things that they have told you about. So initially, when in the Qibla Nagas, Lucifer was not necessarily thought of, and this whole concept of evil came out of when they translated the Latin Vulgate, when Jerome translated directly from Hebrew, because what they saw was just like in the Medu Neter when they saw Set and Osiris. It wasn't an evil, they put the evil against good spin on it, but it was really showing you the two different powers of light and day, night and day, and how they affect you on the electromagnetic scale. Okay, that was the concept that our people were talking about. They were not talking about, and see, this whole thing about evil, okay, it rightly fits into the Germanic languages that interpret this based on their relationship with Serapis, okay? And so this is, for them, yes, this is true. This is why I always say to Black people, I don't care how much you go in those facilities and do this, you are worshiping a deity that is diametrically opposed to people of the sun. Now, you can take that however you want to, but you're going to find out, and they are already, when they have these big rallies, they already let you know. And these other people who are blacker than you and me put together are in bed with them. Then when this Luciferian energy that's attached to Serapis that they worship, then yes, it is evil, okay? Because what it does is anytime you go against the very principles that we know are right and wrong, okay? By the time now the kids, by the time they're 5 years old, they know the difference between right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is now you can't say anything about what you know is wrong without having to put some kind of spin on it. And so all of this is a part of this Sodom and Gomorrah energy. And this is why we're going to see this 2026 judgment against the Luciferians, okay, who is actually a cult, an elite cult that cares nothing about you and I or our children. I don't know how much plainer I can put that. Okay, so I just want to say a couple of things about that as well. So you have people who preach love through Caesar Borgia. They have you doing this, but yet their manifestation is one of pure hate. Okay, and if you can't see that, then you're going to be a part of this judgment as well, because Black folks is not going to escape this judgment. Okay, let's put it that plain and simple. The behavior and characteristics show us clearly which God people worship. And we know this because it's just so amazing that they quote these scripts, but yet they go directly against what nature teaches us. So they say, you will know them by their fruits, which is correct. If, like Lance was saying, you need seeds. Well, any seed you plant is going to produce fruit after its own kind, right or wrong. So when you see the manifestation of the seeds of the children of Sodom, and you see these fruits, and you say, oh, it's okay, then guess what? You are complicit with this energy that we know is directly opposed to Sun people. This is without a doubt. I don't care who don't like it. These people are getting on here spewing so much hate. They have our own people doing this now against each other. But they don't know, or the higher ups know, you don't have very much time. You tell our people to foam at the mouth, to get on their knees and get on the altar of Serapis, give almost $500 billion over 30 years, which I still can't wrap my head around. And then as soon as our people walk out of those facilities, they have to deal with race soldiers that profile them. They have to deal with bigots. They have to deal with the Luciferians that have taken all of the jobs from our people, that have regulated our people to doing all types of demonic things just to possess fiat and materialism. All of this is a part of this Sodom and Gomorrah energy. Okay. All of it is a part of it. Okay. So we know them by their fruits. And what's so amazing to me is that they can get right. It's almost like wow, like Dave Chappelle said, they can get on television and act as if there's nothing wrong with America. This is so amazing to me when I'm looking. You are so detached. So you're telling me that this God that you worship is so detached from the people's pain that you can put up a tree and light it. And that's a whole different story in itself. and we know why they do this. But this is a slap in the face of the children of the true creator, creatrix spirit. What else? They have no compassion for the poor or the less fortunate. You shall know them by their fruits. What part of this you don't get? They elevate themselves while destroying the lives of others. They're soulless. They have no regard for the Creator's children, and they will take everything from you and then beat you down when you are down. So I have people asking me, what do I mean about Luciferians? That's what I mean. That people who have the ability or are in positions where they are supposed to represent the creator creatrix values, which we know they cannot on the planet, okay, and they use that to destroy the children of the creator creatrix spirit. Not only that, also they revel, and they even have our people happy that someone else is failing, that someone else is, what do they say? Misery loves company. This is not in the chakras of our people. Now, I get it. When you're dealing with it, you have to protect yourself. Okay, I get that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you waking up every day to walk in the footsteps of these vampires, when this is not in your nature. America was given the chance to be great. When you look at all of the greatest inventions, not just in America, but in the world, I know of 150 of them right now that have put America in the position to be the greatest superpower in the world. But yet, the people who have produced this, you have turned your weapons of war and your machinery of hate against the people, the very people and their children, for over 25 generations. You have not repented. I don't want to hear anything from you. Our people have no corporations with the names of the inventors of our great ancestors on it. Children from all cultures are told that Black people did not contribute. You can't erase our history. Black folks can beat a drum and know what that means. You can't, it's impossible to do that, okay? But again, what we should preserve in our own homes, which are museums in itself, and your children should see that, we look to these institutions that are destroying our history. Oh, why did you take down the picture of so-and-so? Because it doesn't serve Serapis, that's why. Okay. And then they'll take a man such as Martin Luther King. I don't care about the information that you have that violated this man's privacy. We already know what he did for this nation. Okay, so we're not going to go back and tear down this man because of the things that, because when you put the life of our ancestors against the lives of the oppressor and those that have opposed the real spirit of God, there is no comparison. I don't care what you try to say. And my message finally to our people is, you can can continue to have fun. Go ahead. I have fun. Okay. But just recognize that there are boundaries. Okay. That if you cross, okay, then you are participating in this Sodom and Gomorrah energy that have locked our people into a situation where we're killing each other at a unprecedented rate, or our young people are. We have our brothers unaliving a lot of our sisters, which is really crazy, over little emotional stuff. We have the massive incarceration of our men and now women who are really prisoners of war. So, yes, the 60-year period is here. It ends. It has already ended because our helical rising comes before this New Year's that they claim. And all I can say to you is learn to start connecting with each other. Learn to see, nobody have to agree with everything you say or what religion you believe in. We have to move towards a higher consciousness, because when this destruction totally manifests, it's going to feel like fire coming from the sky. And with that, I'll close, brother.
Excellent, excellent, excellent as always, brother.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
And yeah,
it's never enough.
Yeah,
now you got to wait a long week before we have you back again.
And it goes both ways, because I get the energy from you guys as well, because sometimes you feel handicapped. I feel handicapped because I don't want to be the one responsible for them to use anything they can to bring you down, like they did with your first channel. So a lot of times I have to, that's why I take my time and pick my words carefully, because we're dealing with a cunning being that is so diametrically opposed to you, melanin, by nature, that any misstep that you make, you will immediately, you're talking about karma, they create their own karma against us without realizing that the greatest power and cover that you have here in America, you are destroying. So with that, brother, keep holding on to the belts.
Always.
And
always.
Yeah, keep that like that right hand that from our brother Joshua. I was glad to see. We have to continue to knock out this energy that come at us.
That's right.
That's trying to discourage our people. But I see it totally different. This is actually a good thing for our people, because we are going to be forced by default, because Black people are a de facto nation here in America. Anytime you can command trillions of dollars like our people do, then you are a nation, whether you see yourself as a nation or not. So take care, brother. Peace and love to you and the family. And I'll be in touch again with you this week. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hit me anytime.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Once again, we have another episode with Brother Metamorphosis. I got some more stuff I want to do and put up tonight. Working on a few things to bring us together, because while we are going to make it, there will be trying times. And yes, Tranchi and Chance, we're scurving them. If there's anybody I didn't acknowledge in the chat, please forgive me. But We got to keep our minds right. And I'm just so glad to be in a space where I can totally focus without distraction, and I demand more out of myself on so many different levels. But I'm resting good, and like I said, I'm zoned out most of the time. I'm zoned. Other people have to get substances to get where I'm at right now. I'm not saying I'm walking around spaced out. I'm just saying that, you know, mentally and spiritually, I'm at a high end, and I want to go higher. And the words that come to me, because like I said before, words are powerful. So let's not say I am broke. No, I am destined for the best that I ever have had. And when things are trying, I've always used what I call word therapy. I would always say things like momentum, or I would say I'm on the upswing. You know, when you're on a swing and you're at the park and you hustle from not having any movement at all, and you push off with your feet and you lean back and throw your feet up and hustle. And once you get way up to the top of the swing, where you're getting up high, you get up high and you come down and you go up and you say, whoa, for a second now, you go up so high, the chains get limp and you feel yourself weightless. So you say, okay, I'm going to maintain it right here. But you've hustled enough where you don't have to push as hard to keep that momentum. So one word I like to always say when people ask me, well, how are you doing, Lance? I'm like, I'm on the upswing. Upswing. You're already there. You have the momentum. You work hard to get to that point. So now I'm on the upswing. And it doesn't take much to just lean back a little bit when you're coming down to go up high on that swing. It may seem foolish, but it's important because we got to understand our minds are being attacked constantly, and we don't know the subliminal messages that are being planted on us. Just like a crooked cop that will pull you over for some minor infraction, and when you're not looking, plant drugs on you and have the dogs come around and bust you for having drugs when you didn't have drugs in the first place. Well, we think it's not as serious, but it is. Whenever you start to feel as though you're a little down, or you lost momentum, or you feel almost depressed, just go back a bit. Like you hit that back button on your computer to go back to the previous pages that you were looking at on the internet, and see exactly what the junction point is. And it may not be one point. It may be a combination of things, right? It may be an old song that you heard that reminded you of someone that you loved that may be deceased. And that's sentimental, but it could be sad. And then something else comes. It doesn't happen just one way. I do want to your mind, and I will talk about that. It may not be tonight. I want to kind of zone out and see where my spirit goes and what I want to talk about and just put it up. But it's important that we protect our minds, because that's the only thing we have. At the end of the day, this is the command center. And in actuality, something that Mike Tyson said that rang true with me is that your whole body is there to protect your head. Your head physically is not going to do anything, but that's the command center of your whole body, your movement, your thoughts, where you put yourself when you sense danger, when it's time to seek nourishment, and there's no supermarkets around and you're out in nature and have to put that together and weigh everything out. Your mind. So be careful what you put in your mind. We know the do's and don'ts of what not to put in our body, and we break rules sometime, but it's important that, especially with people that see you in a certain mindset of positivity, even if you don't feel too positive sometimes, That can be that's normal in the world we live in because we're always under attack. But the main thing is that you have your goal, and this is what I'm going to do today. Sometimes emergencies come, you see, and it throws us off. But you know what? When you zone out listening to that song while you're driving down the highway and miss your exit, just because you missed your exit doesn't mean you can't get off at the next exit and still get to the originally planned destination. So never let anybody make you feel as though you missed your destiny or you missed, because you could always come back. Now, you all know I'm a big boxing fanatic. I want to say this. The career of former heavyweight champion Larry Holmes, when he first came into the scene, I think he went to the Olympic trials and he lost to Dwayne Bobbitt, who never really amounted to anything. And he lost. After that, he became Muhammad Ali's sparring partner. And he wasn't looked up to as being anything good. They said his legs were too small. He didn't have it to, make it in the heavyweight division. He wouldn't be anything. Heart Chakra, how are you? And thank you, Sister Gifty. Thank you so much. Shanika, thank you for being here. And so he was Muhammad Ali's sparring partner, and he learned so much from sparring and associated himself in those sessions with Muhammad Ali. He was even so proud that Muhammad Ali gave him a black eye. He went back to his hometown and he showed it off and people didn't believe him. And he fought on and he fought on. It's not about that part of his career because he became champion. And I think he held it for 7.5 years. But he retired and came back against Mike Tyson on very short notice, and he came back for the money. He looked good for a few moments, but Tyson eventually got him, right? So now people are like, okay, Larry Holmes is done. But it wasn't too long after that he began to embark on continuing his career. But he pulled back a bit and he fought some easy touches to build himself back up, because remember, he was about 40 years old, 39, 40. So he took his time. I think it was Tuesday night fights. Wasn't paying that much. He was already a multi-millionaire. He was getting paid, but he built himself up. Wouldn't you believe he built himself up to having a title shot against Evander Holyfield and another one against Oliver McCall, and he fought his last fight in 2001. What if he gave up after the Tyson so-called loss, which he made a lot of money at that fight? So we don't know in the nooks and crannies internally that we have what's there. Just because on the surface it may look a certain way, it doesn't mean that internally nothing's there. No matter what age you are, your greatest manifestations can come at any age, but you have to control your mind. We know when we're trying to make that peanut butter and jelly sandwich and we have more jelly than peanut butter, that we learn to get that spoon and scrape the sides of the jar. We're going to get all that peanut butter. And after we scrape that, nobody's looking, we take our finger up in that ridge and get all of it out. And we look at the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and we got more peanut butter than jelly. But at first it didn't look that way, right? So we don't know the potentials that we have inside of us. We don't know what the Creator has put inside of us. But if our minds are constantly in a state of attack, yeah, we have to defend ourselves. But let's not forget the real deal of looking within and manifesting the greatness that's inside of us, because we all have it. But we're so busy fighting the things around us, which we have to do. But we have to be shrewd with our energy. We have to know when to fight and when not to fight. We have to know how, in boxing, they say, steal the round. It doesn't mean you have to fight 3 minutes of every round. You come out strong for the first 30 seconds and you flurry and finish up the last 30 seconds strong. What they saw coming out, they scored. They said, oh man, this guy, he's good. They forgot all about the middle. Preserve yourself. And sometimes the passage of time can feel like, oh man, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not doing what it is I'm supposed to do. But remember, those things are inside of you, and you'll appreciate it more when you find them. But you also have to put yourself in different situations. Go out of your comfort zone. Comfort zone could be a comfort zone, but most of the time for us, the comfort zone is death. Death of our dreams, death of our talents and abilities. You see? Because we get too comfortable and we lay back on the couch and grab the remote and we don't want to do anything. Recently, my dear sister and I were speaking, and I said, I have to get out more. I have to go to different functions. Not all of them. But if I'm going to get new accolades and new rewards, I've got to do new things. I got to try myself out. And it may not be that everything works out. Do you walk into the store, the shoe store, and grab the first pair of shoes and walk out? No, you get 2 or 3 other pairs and you try them out. You walk in them. You see how they look, how they feel. You know what outfits you're going to match up with these shoes because they're hanging up in the closet in your house. So these things you have to try out. Try yourself out. We get so caught up in one track, one way of living, one way of thinking, and that's no good. I mean, I know, of course, we fall into routines. We get up, we get ready to go to work, we hop in the car, or we go to public transportation, but whatever it is, every day begins to look the same. And we believe that we're going to get it by keeping it the same and following the routine. That's the so-called part of the American dream that kills any chance of an American dream. It's an illusion. Doesn't have to, look, I'm living the American dream in Africa. So it's not the physical location. But that system is made to suck you out. And you get to a certain age and realize, what did I do? I should have taken more chances, which are not chances. It's not a gamble. When you know you have something inside you that you want to do, you're going to have to try it so many times. You got to understand that everything that you see is the product of a thought. Every simple thing that you see is a product of a thought. I don't know who thought up the roll of toilet paper, but guess what? We all have it. And they thought this thing up. And they had to find a way to wind this paper around the original line. Maybe it was flat pieces of paper. You need to roll that bad boy off when you're in that position not to get lewd, right? When you look at a telephone pole, right? Or the poles where the wires are on. You can't have the wires on the ground and people stepping on them and getting electrocuted. So we have to come up. But one thing I'll tell you before I go, and I hate to use the word problem. I like challenge. Challenge is a call to action. Challenges are for champions. If you're a champion, no matter how bad you feel right now, no matter what it is, it's a challenge. It's a dare, right? I got challenges. I already kind of know what I'm going to do tomorrow, what I want to do tomorrow, unless something divine happens to bring me higher or take me off course. I'm already zeroed in on it. I'm already excited about it. I'm so excited about it, which others would say may be a mediocre day. No, that I hope I'm able to go to sleep. Because in my mind that's protected, I have a package of things that I want to accomplish. Protect your mind. Get up out your comfort zone. You don't have to stay out of the comfort zone. It's a compromise. But make sure a little bit every day, unless it's a complete day of restoration and meditation, that you take yourself out of your comfort zone, whatever the comfort zone may be, because those traps are in our mind that we can't do it. We forget to challenge the boundaries and the barriers that are put on us in this modern society. Why can't we do it? Why can't we do it? And we can't even tell ourselves why we can't, but we just don't. We stay on the one track. We go to work and come home. We go to the same supermarket and come home. We don't even know the people on the next block. We never even walk down that street to know who's there. Do something different. Tomorrow for me, I'm going to put in work. I'm going to create something before I leave out of the house. I'm gone. And we're going to see what I come up with. Right? I'm going to have something to talk about, somebody to talk about, not in a bad way, but in an inspirational way. And I'm going to have a story to tell. My total receptors are open to receive. But at the same time, my guard is up. I'm not looking to receive all the energies that are out there. I filter them out. You have to also know how to do that. You go to the farmer's market, or you go to the vegetable and fruit aisle in the supermarket, and you look down at the apples. Now, you know, a million hands, you get home. But you look at the apples and you pick one up. You know, this one's bruised. No, this one's no good. No, okay, that one's good. You look at the mangoes. Well, this is what you have to do with people and the energy that you give. Because you'll have certain people with, I'm not going to say negative energy, but non-directional energy that will take up your time, and you'll be sitting there with a dilemma like, I lost my momentum. I don't feel like I'm on the upswing anymore. But when you have people in your life who have invested in you and believe in you and have pulled you up out of ruts, no matter what is happening, if they have an emergency or they have a need, you have to feed back into them. That is priority. You must always do that. That's law. But you don't feed into people who just come around to take. No. You can be nice. You give a little sample of your time, but your feet don't stop moving. You ever see a celebrity, and maybe a celebrity is wrong to use in this example, but a celebrity who has somewhere to go, because you're used to seeing people flock to them with their cameras and they want to get a response. Oh, Denzel, Mr. Washington, could you tell me what your next movie is? So and so and so. He may utter something that's in the works. I can't tell you right now, but his feet doesn't stop moving because he's got somewhere to go. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody for saying this. I'm just asking you, do you have a sense of urgency for your life where you have to ask yourself, how is this elevating me? And when you give energy, it's got to elevate somebody else. It can't be just you wallowing back and talking gossip and stupidness, because it's bringing you down. Because when you feed into somebody who is worthwhile and worthy, because your energy is precious, that comes back to you. And that's on a divine level. Because I know when I go through crisis, or what may appear to be crisis, I'm not worrying. I'm concerned. I have to be concerned, but I'm not going to say, because you know what? Everything I've been through in my 62 and a half years, I've always come through. It's not because I'm so great, but something out of that, like we have the word called susu. It's a Caribbean thing and an Asian thing. Say you get 10 people and you all pitch in $100. The person who needs that $1,000 collectively gets it first, but he has to keep on putting the $100 in for everybody else until he pays it back, right? So this is how we do with our energy as a collective. So people don't have to be around you all the time. They can live all the way around the world, but if they're connected to you spiritually, it will come back to you. So I have given enough of my time, and a lot of my time, and if it seems like it's lost, it's not, because I invested it properly. You think when you put a seed in the ground, you're going to wake up the next morning, there's going to be a tree with fruit on it? No, you have to cultivate that. And for the people who have cultivated energy in me, it's my duty to not let them down. You understand? But check the energy. Just don't accept a smiling face that comes at you, because they can have, look, there are several people who, and I'm not saying this because I'm thinking I'm so big or whatever. No, this is normal life stuff. This is me sharing my life. There's one person, you wouldn't know their name, but I knew of them from about little less than 20 years ago, about 19 years, right? And when they discovered that what I did online from back then, They tried to emulate it in a different way. I don't mind inspiring anybody because I'm on my own journey. I don't even know, I know what I plan to do, but then what's behind that? That's the mystery. That's the joy, right? Let's peel back the layers. Let's see what's behind that. But you'll never see on a third level until you get to the first level. And I noticed that it was a resentment from him, not directly to me because he would always smile. And to this day, I don't know what it is about this Joker. It's like he's trying to compete or outdo, or it's not inspiration, it's a resentment. And others notice that. So I don't know. I just can't do that. I can't do that to people, and I don't want nobody to do it to me. So if you think I'm like that football player zigzagging and running and you can't keep up and I got moves and you almost, you know what I mean? That's what you have to do sometime to protect your peace. You know? Protect your mind. Yes, Calamunk, it's always a pleasure. Most of the time it's about getting me on here than talking, because I can talk forever. Let me tell you something. I'm going to set up a mic next to the bed. So when I start talking in my sleep, those conversations in my sleep are show worthy. But yeah, that's what it's all about. And you have to evaluate yourself, you know, where you are, where you stand. You don't just drive down your car until you have no gas. You know, when you come in at night, whatever time you come in, you have to evaluate. And with the airplanes, the airports, and the pilots, they call it to check that plane. Just because it flew successfully and flawlessly doesn't mean there's not one loose bolt that might come off and the whole plane fall apart. I'm just exaggerating, right? So you have to go back and make sure you're right for the next day. Have your, I don't want to sound spooky saying the word ritual, because people hang on to the words. I say, well, what you talking about, ritual, right? No, but you have to take back the word. We have to have righteous rituals of maintaining ourselves. Like the article I wrote years ago, about 15 years ago. When was the last time you took yourself out on a date? Right? Pamper yourself. Love yourself. Don't just wait for somebody else to do it. If you want to put all the candles, like in the movies sometime, you know, those love stories, romantic, and you want to put all the candles around the bath and play some soft music and grab a book, even though it's low light, and read a little bit and take a nice bath, even taking a shower first and getting off all the hard stuff off of you, and then take the bath and luxuriate. And ladies, if you have any satin outfit to put on or something that the world would say is sexy, put it on for yourself and enjoy your womanhood. Not that womanhood is about being sexy for a man, but just being. You can do it. Ain't it a damn shame that we got more men out here behind closed doors and in the street enjoying their femininity in a dress and daring you to say something? So you're a woman, you can do that. Reclaim who you are. I don't know all of the inner workings of the people who come through to the show. You got private stuff going on too. Do that. As long as it's not destructive. Because we know we got a lot of twisted people around here. We got a lot of people out here who are easily led. I got Netflix. I've been watching the whole Diddy documentary. And it's been out for a while, I believe, and I just got around to, and I'm toward the end. I didn't know it was going to come in separate, different parts. Because as I saw the little scrolly thing on the bottom go toward the end, I'm like, oh man, this is getting pretty good. Thing over, and then boom, another part. Then boom, another part. I think it's 3 parts, maybe. It's coming to the end. Maybe there's a 4th part. I don't know. But as I'm editing and doing different things, I put it up and I watch it. And we have so many people that will not assert putting up boundaries. And like I said earlier on that recording, that it's not a matter of putting up a wall, but it's about putting up a boundary, and you choose who to let in. Just like those clubs that are so high ranking and high class, and they have the bouncer and he's like pointing on you, on who gets in. Everybody else is sitting out there in the cold. Oh, please, let it be me. Girl buttons down her blouse a little bit and then she gets in. You know how that goes. But we don't assert ourselves, and we allow a person who is twisted like a ditty and a power-hungry individual to rule over us because they can. They test you. They push on you a little bit. They test your boundaries, if you have any. When they figure you out, like a boxer after the first round with his rangefinder of a jab. Okay, it was a little too short. Let me step in a little bit with the jab. Whatever. Oh, he's going to throw the right. Let me just get ready to duck. They're testing you out. And then when they want to move in on you full throttle, they take advantage of you. There's nothing wrong with you being aggressive to these people who are manipulators. Don't be nice. Oh, well, they didn't. No. As soon as somebody punches you in the face, I can be in the most sentimental mood, loving mood, sitting there, me and Mr. Scurv, we're in a nice restaurant talking and whatever, and loving, sweetheart, I love you so much. Oh, so and so and so. And somebody punches me in the face, I'm jumping up, and they're going to get a punch right back in their face even harder. You got to be able to flip. You got to be able to shift those gears. How do you think those guys, what do you call it, Daytona 500 and NASCAR? I don't follow those things. I don't know if I'm calling it right. When they're on that track, it's the skills they have. The car has to work properly. It has to be in tip-top condition, but it's the driving skills of those drivers that can shift those gears fast enough and strategic enough. Depending on who's around them, they see an opening, they shift, whatever. We got to be on point like that. We're in the outside world. This is why home life is important. Home. Womb. I've said it for years. Home and womb sound the same. I want to go womb. I want to go home. Because the womb, when you were a child, protected you and nourished you and kept you warm. You even had surround sound of the heartbeat. Boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom. That's why that song by Tanya Gardner, who lived a few blocks away from me in Queens, that song resonated with everybody because we all know about the heartbeat, whether you remember it or not. And when the heart beat, nourishment was being pumped into you. You see what I mean? Womb, home, bring your food home, bring your money home. You see a nice outfit that's a nice robe or a nice pair of slippers or home. And you know what? Clean out your home. We got to clean out our body. And with your home, ladies, and your womb, you better be careful who you let in your womb. Just the same way we got to be careful on who we let in our home. We have to treat the home the same way we treat the womb. If you have anybody going all up in your womb when they want to, you don't know what you're going to produce because there's so many different spirits and energies and different things. They got to wait for that until you vet that person before you allow them in your womb, because it's a life-giving thing. What are you giving life to? Are you going to give life to a demon? You better check out and see if that man is a demon. And like I said in the video up there on that top balcony the other day, right? A woman or a man, but it's mainly a woman. She comes home. She's got her man she's living with or married, whatever it is, but they're together and it's only them two. And she comes home. He's been home. As soon as she hits the door inside, hey, honey, how you doing? Who is here? Who'd you have here? Not in a suspicious way, unless that's his track record, right? But who did you have here? She could sense it. She could sense what was in her home womb. Just like a daughter comes home. I didn't go through this with my daughters, but I've witnessed this with other daughters. That you get to know, maybe you're dating somebody, maybe you know somebody close, whatever, and you know that daughter's movement. And she comes home the same way, but a little late. And when she comes home, she has a look on her face. Not enlightened in a good way at those younger ages, but you can tell she had a different experience. And now she's wiser to certain things that she didn't know about, and she can't even look the mother in her face when she comes home. She gives a half greeting and runs to the bathroom, and not to sit down on the bowl, you hear the shower running. Ah, okay. Hair all messed up, skin flush. Run straight to the shower. But you can't wash off the experience. People give so much away about themselves that if we just open our eyes and look, we can see what it is, no matter what the situation. That was just one type of scenario. But as people approach us, again, we oftentimes say, okay, what do I see in this person? And I'm going to say it again. When we see this person, we have to ask not just what we see, because they could be carefully protecting themselves. Their visage could be orchestrated. But you got to ask yourself, what is it that they see in me? How do they see me? Doesn't mean you're insecure. Like, do they see if my outfit is nice and my hair is okay? About. Because that's what's going to really tell you what the motivation is to be around you. Now, we know here in Ghana, there really is no middle class. This is a hand-to-mouth economy that is a bit stressed for people who are not considered affluent. So why would I go and dress up, put on nice shirts, nice pants, nice shoes, put on jewelry, flash money? The general mood here is not for a person to hit you over the head and try to take anything, but they're going to ask. And I've given, but I'm not trying to invite all of that. And I'm not trying to be this big fish in a little pond and show out on these people who are living hand to mouth, what they earn, what they make for that day, because jobs are hard. From their hustle, they get. I'm a little more blessed with an economy that comes from America in retirement. So I know that this is covered if they follow through with what I've earned and what they're supposed to give. So they ain't giving me nothing. I earned it. Worked all my life. So you have to understand the atmosphere that you're in. Be aware. I know growing up in the streets of New York City, you can walk down one block and turn the corner, and you're leaving a hood-like experience into an affluent experience. But you got to know that. So protect your mind, be aware, dare to come out of your comfort zone, because that's the only place you're going to make progress. We could always look back on what we've accomplished, but it's the only time when you come out of your comfort zone and dare yourself to grow. That's when you're going to get your growth. And the last analogy that I'll use, that I always use, that should convince you to come out of your comfort zone, on a culinary way, this is an example, your favorite food. Everybody, if you can, I don't see the chat room right now. I'm on a different panel, but for the sake of the show, if you can type in your favorite food. Don't be ashamed now. If you're some chocolate cake or cheesecake, I'm not going to say, oh, you're eating bad. No, no, just whatever it is. You might not have it all the time. But my question to you is, when did your favorite food become your favorite food? At one time, you didn't know your favorite food was your favorite food, but you stepped out of your comfort zone, maybe through coercion. Come on, man, try a piece of this. Come, no, it's good. No, I look nasty. I don't want that. No. And you tried it, and you're like, oh man, this is good. Wow. Let me get a little more of that. Oh, come on now. Don't eat up mine. I gave you a little piece. You said you didn't want it. Now you like it. You know what? You're going to have to order your own now. Now it's your favorite food. So how many favorite foods, not just in a culinary sense, but how many experiences, how much different types of music that you didn't hear, that you didn't, I don't want to hear that music. I don't want to look through that book, because, especially in America, we stay zoned into our, we got to go this way to work. We got to come home a certain time. We're only going to go to the certain supermarket. We only got certain friends. We don't go outside of our comfort zone. Well, there's a concert going on for free at the park. Dress up in your summer gear if it's summer or whatever, and go there. You might run into an old schoolmate. You might run into your future spouse. Upon meeting and you both are grooving to the music, you know you got something in common when you lock eyes. Think back to all the meaningful things that happened to you and how it began and how you would have missed out if you stayed in your comfort zone. I ain't going nowhere today, man. I'm going to sit here and chill. I don't know. I don't want to go nowhere. And it doesn't mean you always have to be running around, right? It could be where you need your day to stay in. There's certain days when I'm here and I'm like, you know what? I'm staying in. I'm not going nowhere. I still go outside. I still lay on the balcony, right? Still go in the yard. I still go outside. But some days, like, I don't want to deal with anybody else's energy. I'm a little drained right now. I need to top my tank off. That's why you got to meditate, look within, check yourself, and always make sure that you do the pre-flight. So when you go out into the outside world, you know you're ready, right? I'm going to wrap it up right here. I may take this end part, make a separate video out of it. So, because most people may not last to the end and even see it. So if you see it up again, that's just a little rant that I added, and we'll title it and call it something, but it's a freestyle. Let me check the chat room. I got the camera in front of where I can see everything. So this is why I'm ducking, like I'm, ducking somebody throwing a punch at me, whatever. See ya, 144, I see you. Yes. Yes, Kalamunka, pep talk. If I can do that, fine. You know what I mean? If I can motivate somebody, fine. That's what it's all about, because you all have motivated me on different levels. There are individuals here who have really motivated me and done so much. There are angels out here. And sometimes they get when you got to be screwed over sometime, but the good energy that you put out with good intentions will always come back to you. And when people screw you over, guess what? They're going to feel it, because they're not going to get a second chance at your goodness. You know what I mean? Sweet potato pie. There you go. Type in them good foods, y'all. We're going to play this little music a little bit, maybe. And go to this other page. I'm going to have to rearrange this camera in a different way. Anyway, much love to you all. What time is it now? Wow, it's 9:48. And you out there on the East Coast, 9:48. What is it over there? 4:48? Wow, that makes a difference. Let me see if I can squeeze out another one and get something up and then fall asleep, because I'm thinking about tomorrow and the wonderful day that I'm going to have. So anyway, let me put that other song. Everybody loves this song, so I'll have them play it again. That crazy. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, y'all. Much love. Peace.
Yeah. So this matter, actually today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just human, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to LANCESCURV. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.